Welcome, I'm Corey Huffman, and this is my writing channel, where I do my best to tackle the technical aspects of writing narrative prose in the hopes of both improving my own craft and helping as many writers as I can along the way. But before we talk writing, in light of my channel surpassing 1,000 subscribers, I'd like to take a brief moment to express my gratitude for all the kind and warm-hearted comments many of you have left in the comment sections of my videos. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my first ever subscriber, Dan Coles, whose subscription and early on engagement with the channel helped motivate me to carry on making videos, because I knew that at least one person was watching. I've learned a lot through the process of teaching what I've studied, so thank you all for being the mirror that I talk to. In this video, I'd like to describe for you the mindset I've developed over the years that has made the craft of writing far more approachable. And that mindset boils down to the recognition that there are fundamentally only two considerations one must make when writing. There is what you are going to write and how you are going to write it. In most of my videos, I focus on the how of writing, that is, the technical aspect of the craft, such as sentence structure, rhythm, punctuation, word choice, and so on. But in this video, I wanted to discuss the flip side of the coin, namely, what to write, because knowing how to write is of little use if you're steering blind. So allow me to introduce the concept I refer to as the vision of the story. This is the movie playing in your reader's head when they read your words, one which fades over time and so must be maintained by sentence after sentence of descriptive information. The reason visualization is important to you, the writer, is because if you are to describe the scene you're writing, you must first be able to conjure that very vision in your mind. You cannot describe what you cannot see, not truly. Until you can illuminate in your mind's eye a vision of what is happening moment by moment in the scene that you are writing, you will forever feel unsure about what you've written, not knowing whether it's good or captures what you intended it to, because the vision you are trying to capture was never clear, or perhaps never existed at all, and so how can you know if you've captured it? Now, try not to stress yourself out if you're all too aware that your writing is lacking. It'll always feel that way a little, but especially in the beginning, when you will almost certainly struggle to visualize the scene in vivid detail. This is for two reasons. One, the how of writing is demanding all of your attention, and or two, you are a person who naturally thinks in words, concepts, and ideas instead of images and symbols. This is what I would call a masculine-dominated or left-brain mind, whereas the person who thinks in pictures has a feminine-dominated or right-brain mind. I myself am left-brain dominated and so had to train myself to visualize, because to write a narrative forces the writer to exercise both of these cognitive functions at once. You must envision the scene you're writing as vividly and with as much specific detail as you can, while also performing the craft of writing itself, describing your vision with well-structured sentences, a digestible rhythm, and evocative words. You also want to develop the focus required to maintain a continuous vision in your mind's eye, as opposed to one that is discrete or choppy, broken up in a way that is disjointed. Suffice to say that if a writer is to capture their story in all its glory, they must understand both halves of the process, striving for excellence in both craft and vision, knowing both how to write and what to write, because this is an instance where 1 + 1 = 3, not 2. In other words, when the vision and craft work in harmony, they generate something that is greater than the sum of its parts, a well-envisioned story that is not only well written, but realized. Allow me to read an excerpt from my work-in-progress and debut novel, an epic fantasy tentatively titled Reflections of the Same, and you can judge for yourself how well I've realized the vision of a man in a winter wilderness, at night, staring out at an encampment of enemy warriors. Frigid winds buffeted the fur hood of Imo's reindeer parka. Frosted and frozen were the hairs of its hide. Dry, crystalline snow swirled in eddies and piled in drifts, like frozen waves. A sliver of moon reflected just enough pale light to see by, and not a cloud covered the stars, sparkling in a brilliant display like the snowflakes of a heavenly blizzard, frozen forever in the silent black sky. Bitter was the cold, so cold a man risked frostbite exposing his skin to the air. Imo stood next to Urho upon the crusted snow, strapped into a pair of hare's feet so as not to sink, and together they watched, through the eye sockets of masks fashioned of human skull, the 100 or so tents frozen in the valley below. Sheltered from the northern winds by a rocky, snow-covered cliff, the Pyresian encampment slept. The pig warriors on watch, they shivered. Among the pitiful tents half buried in drifts of snow, a few dozen campfires flickered, fighting the deadly cold and darkness both. Now, regardless of how this scene comes across to you, the reader, I can say from my personal experience as the writer that I could not have described this scene without first putting myself in Imo's shoes and visualizing his surroundings as he would see them. You can tell by my word choice that I am emphasizing how cold and dark this setting is, but what I'd really like to draw your attention to is how visualization led me to describe in the active voice. Check out my video linked in the description if you're not sure what that means, but essentially, writing in the active voice is when you place the verb directly after the subject, conveying information in a very immediate and impactful way, bringing every action to life. In other words, the reader gets to experience all that the character experiences as they experience it. Allow me to highlight my use of the active voice. Winds buffeted, snow swirled, moon reflected, not a cloud covered, a man risked, Imo stood, they watched, the encampment slept, they shivered, campfires flickered. But the active voice is just a writing technique related to the how of writing, not the what. And what I was writing was a description of the world through Imo's eyes, described until my words captured the vision in my mind. So how does one visualize, I hear you asking? Well, there are many ways, I'm sure. Let me know in the comments if you have your own tips and tricks. We writers learn a lot from each other. But the best advice I can give is to practice visualization while you read. You do this by first slowing down your pace. If you've been reading books all your life, you've likely developed the ability to skim or speed read to some degree. But if you're wanting to develop your visualization skills, you have to read every word. And with every sentence you read, weave that descriptive information into the visual tapestry in your head with as much detail as you can manage. Even if you've been writing for many years, it can still be very difficult to focus on improving your visualization while you're writing. So reading a story which has already been written offers a far more relaxing opportunity to learn. Then, when you sit down to write, you'll find yourself visualizing with much more clarity, and as a consequence, you'll be able to write characters who are more unique and compelling, as well as settings which are more vivid and immersive. Here's the essence of narrative writing in a nutshell. First, you visualize the scene you want to write, and then you describe that vision with narrative prose. If the craft is lacking, the vision won't be clear to the reader, and if the vision is lacking, you'll get lost writing beautiful sentences about nothing. Anyway, I hope you found this breakdown of my writing mindset helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and as always, like and subscribe for more technical writing videos. See you.